So I'm here with Phil Hellmuth. This is quite a thrill. I was completely blindsided by this invitation to participate in the poker tournament that World CryptoCon is hosting at the beautiful Poker Go Studios at the Aria Hotel. And I ended up getting to sit on the same table with one of the greatest.
And you sent me a tweet
yes,
about University of Wisconsin gear.
Yes, yes, I was at, by coincidence.
But you didn't wear it!
By coincidence, I was at the University of Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago, and it was 40 degrees there. And I'm from Miami, where it was 80 degrees, so I had to buy a University of Wisconsin scarf and a cap with a pom-pom at the campus bookstore, and I was thinking about wearing that at the table today to intimidate Phil.
You threatened to wear it, but you didn't wear it.
Who went to the University of Wisconsin. Yeah.
This is a pretty good event. You know, we sold out. How many seats was it?
I think there was 81 players, and then they let another 100 people in off the street as spectators. I think the capacity of this room is 200 people.
It's amazing. You know, we have an app where people are called Poker Go, where people are paying $10 a month, and we're playing high stakes poker on the app. I won $300,000 when I filmed here a couple weeks ago. It was pretty cool. I won a really big pot, and it's been great. The greatest players in the world are filming here, so I think we're in a great location. And we sold out. I mean, there's only 81 seats available. I think it sold out quickly.
This was a lot of fun. I was doing okay until I wasn't doing okay.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to say is I overheard you doing an interview about Bitcoin, and you were saying that you were buying at 6,000 to 7,000. And for anyone that doesn't know, the buy-in for this tournament was 0.08 Bitcoin. If you wanted to sit on one of the tables, it was a $500 buy-in, and you had to pay with cryptocurrency. And I overheard you say that you like it at 6,000.
I was laughing because my friends got all excited when Bitcoin hit 17,000, and I'm like, you know, I think you should have been excited a few months ago, or maybe in a few months if it goes the other direction. And so I started to get excited when it, you know, neared the $5,000 and $6,000 mark. Then Bitcoin seemed like a good buy to me.
Yes, individuals, unfortunately, they like to buy high and sell low.
Yeah, it's really true.
And what you did is correct. If you bought a Bitcoin in January at 20,000, your break-even point is 20,000. If you buy two today at 6,500, you just dropped your break-even point to 11,000.
You could buy three.
On the three of them.
Right, right. You could buy three, and yeah, that's true. You can rebuy back in and reset your level.
And as long as Bitcoin doesn't go to zero, you're okay. If the $20,000 mark in January will not be the all-time high for Bitcoin. There are some watershed events coming in the next 6, 12, 18 months that's going to drive Bitcoin. Probably, my target for the end of next year is 28,000. So I think anyone that's buying right now is probably going to be really happy by this time next year. Yeah.
Ethereum's also pretty low too. What I saw it at 196 yesterday.
Yeah, but Ethereum is a little bit more difficult to value. With Bitcoin, I know that in the next couple of years there's going to be 100 million people trying to get their hands on a few million Bitcoin. And there's no reason for the gold market at $7.5 trillion to be worth 60 times what Bitcoin is when we don't know how much gold there is in the ground. Bitcoin has a capped supply, and that's why there's always going to be upwards pressure on the price, unless there's something, an event that comes along that shakes people's confidence in it. So, yeah.
But these things are never a straight up path. I've spent 100 hours looking at the stock market over the last month and a half because I want to deploy some big capital. And you know, I just can't help but notice. I decided, how could I put my money in 2 weeks ago when the stock market wasn't an all-time high? You know, I have to buy on a dip. And for me, even if I'm putting the money in for 20 years, I just, when I saw, I feel it has to drop another 15% before I do that. What would you say with Bitcoin? Does it need to drop?
Well, I think what's even more important, no, but with Bitcoin, you can be buying now. I think this might be close to the bottom. I am pretty well connected. I know what's going on over the counter, where the big people are buying and selling. And the consensus amongst anyone that's in the circle is that we're going to be back at 8,000 or 9,000 by the end of the year, and then we're going to take off. But to go back to what you said about the stock market, The Dow Jones right now is at 25,000. It's going to be at 50,000 in the next 15 years.
Yeah.
The problem is we may hit 20 before we hit 30.
Correct.
Now, if you look at the Dow Jones, it's only 10% off its all-time high, but
Yeah.
most of the names are down by between 25 and 50% since January. General Electric is down by 70%.
Yeah.
IBM is down by 35%.
10 cents down 40%.
That's the Chinese name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the multiple that is trading on earnings compared to Amazon, it's a nice pair trade. You short Amazon and you buy 10 cent. So the trick in the stock market is to buy on the way down, not sell. Look what happened 10 years ago when the market crashed. People jumped out at the bottom and the smart people were buying and they already tripled and quadrupled their money.
It's true.
Yeah. So when did you left Wisconsin, at what age?
Man, my wife matched at Stanford, so that's a binding contract. So in 1994, she had to do residency at Stanford. So that's when we moved out to the Bay Area, which is amazing for me. I've had so much fun out there. My friends are amazing people. It's taken me 20 years to find great friends, and I'm so lucky. I'm really happy where I am, and we played high stakes poker on Monday night. I got lucky the last 15 minutes. I won two $50,000 pots, but it's just been. I'm very happy up there. I'm hanging out with people that have scaled many mountains and are the best in the world at what they do, and luckily they want to hang out with me, and so it's been really fun. I'm really, and this year especially, I've been blessed financially so much that I really am trying to make a big effort to make sure that I'm getting enough time with family and friends, and so I've spent a couple of weeks with my sisters, and this weekend I'm going to be down in Florida doing a charity tournament, and I'm flying in 5 or 6 of my friends, my older friends from Wisconsin. It's going to be a really fun weekend down there.
Yeah, we spoke earlier. I was also in the Bay Area this past weekend, and I wanted to visit Stanford, but it was a little bit out of the way because I was staying in San Francisco. So I went to visit the Berkeley campus, which is also very nice.
45-minute drive.
Yeah, but I did visit the Berkeley campus, which is very beautiful. Yeah. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were. We spoke about this earlier, about there's something on the ballot now where they want to raise tax on the wealthy to resolve the homeless problem in San Francisco, which is as bad as I've seen it, and I've been in 75 countries around the world. It's one of the richest cities in the world.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be hundreds of people urinating on the street, outside Twitter headquarters, no less.
Yeah, I mean, I would completely support that. I think it makes sense. But when we talk specific political parties, I'm very in the middle. So I wrote 4 papers on how Trump won, and then tens of millions of people read those papers. But I made it clear in all of them that I'm, in the middle. I try to sell hats and shoes and products to both the Democrats and the Republicans. So, and I see a lot of good in both parties. So I kind of stay. So if we're going to get into more politics, you'll probably see.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to get political. I was just talking about people that are sleeping on the street.
Yeah,
now, as a public figure, I don't care if I lose half of my business by telling people how I feel about my political views, and I have lost half of my business. People know that I'm on the far left. But most people that are public figures, they're always afraid of losing half of their audience, so they won't let you know how they feel about politics.
There are
you
some
that
poker
way?
players.
Or?
There are some poker players. I'd consider myself to be a reasonable person, right? And so there are some poker players that were just so anti-Trump that it was like wow, and there were so many that were that were pro-Trump that it was like wow. And they were battling all the time, and it just like so much negative energy put out there on this stuff. And so, again, I'm in the middle, but I was a little, I was a little bit disappointed at the level of ferocity from the left when Trump had won. Now that my wife says, Phil, you sound like you're supporting Trump. No, I'm not. But it just seemed like for a month it was okay to see. But like my wife said, my wife, I think, feels that, he's not been great for women and not great for Mexico. And so, and and has some serious, and has, you know, a few issues here and there. So I just am against the concept of hate. So let's just take Trump out of it, the Clintons out of it, who I love, and I've emceed their charity poker tournament, the Clintons, 5 times now. I think we've raised $10 million for them. Take all of that out there. I just don't like to see people focusing on hate. And so my book, Positivity, which came out in February, which is, people are tweeting me and texting me every day, your book changed my life. It's 8 life tips. That's it, 8 life tips. But one of the chapters is Hate Hurts You.
How long is the book?
70 minutes it takes you to read.
Oh, it's just like a few dozen pages?
I mean, 70, 80 pages, but literally you can finish it. I did the audio book in 70 minutes.
Right.
So positivity is changing people's lives. So my big chapter is Hate Hurts You. And so I just hate to see people, it's disturbing to me to see people wasting too much of their time and energy on hatred.
No.
And so that's what I want to get rid of. And so let's just take, you know, again, all of the issues. I mean, people may have good reasons to be mad. They may have good reasons to be upset. But I'd rather have them focus on the good stuff in their life. And so that chapter's done really well for me. And
who are the people that you think influenced you the most in writing a book like this? Was it Joel Osteen or the Dalai Lama or someone else that...
These are my own tips. So I had to find a way to become the best poker player in the world. I had to find a way to write New York Times best-selling books. I had to find a way to host TV shows. And so, and deal with it, because as you become famous, you start to go crazy, right? And it's evidenced by all the famous crazy people out there. So I had to find a way to balance it and keep reaching and achieving more. And so these are my own concepts. Now I'm lucky that Tony Robbins gave me an amazing quote on the back of Positivity. I'm lucky that Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Facebook, gave me an amazing, they read the book and they loved it. And Tony Robbins is giving this book away in all of his classes all over the world, telling people to buy my book, Positivity. So to me, to have those two behind me is like the ultimate. And I've been wanting to write this book to help people since 2002, but I had to get the autobiography out first, and then I got busy with life. And so the minute my autobiography came out, last August, I immediately went to work and had this one out by February, because I couldn't wait. And so it's 8 life tips, and it's just, I'm really inspired. One of my friends just bought 30 books yesterday and is giving it to all these high school kids because it helped his high school kid change his life. So it's a very simple book. You know, one of the chapters is write down your life goals and tape them on your bathroom mirror. That's a chapter. One chapter is Hate Hurts You. So
I have to ask you a question. When I found out that I was going to be playing with you at the tournament, I looked up your bio on Wikipedia, and I saw your nickname, which is the Brat. And a couple of people warned me that you're going to be playing with a brat, and I've been with you for 2 hours here, and you're like the nicest person in the room. So something changed in your personality and you mellowed out the last 20 years, or is that nickname not justified?
So I gave myself the nickname Poker Brat because of my meltdowns at the poker table. But these are mutually exclusive. Me losing it at the poker table and having passion. People love that. The Northern Europeans are my biggest fans. They love that passion at the table. I want to win so bad. When someone does something I'm not supposed to do, I just get angry. That's passion. But that's not mutually exclusive. I mean, I'm the guy that's been married 30 years and has never cheated on his wife. I'm not a drug guy. I'm not an alcohol guy.
Right.
I've raised $54 million for charities at events that I've
I saw that on your website, yes.
And so I want to drive forward with positivity. My book, #Positivity, of course the one before that is Poker Brat, the autobiography. But I don't think that, you know...
I have a hot temper also, and I spend 24 hours a day thinking about the poor people in the world. So you're right, one thing has nothing to do with the other.
Call me a hot temper at the table, call me a bit of a poker brat, guilty. But if you ask the poker world, they'll say that they love me because I'm authentic, and I'm honest, and I'm straight up. And I'm, you know, basically good to everybody. I don't attack people. Other than in the moment when I lose a pot. Damn it all, how could you hit that 9 on me? What were you thinking? But other than that...
How did you get knocked out? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I had you know, it came Queen 8 deuce, and I bet, and someone made a min raise, and I called with King 8, and a king came. The other word is King Queen 8 deuce. And it turned out the one guy had kings and queens.
Is he the same one that knocked me out with the sunglasses and the hood?
Nope, the guy that took your seat.
Oh, somebody came from another table. Oh, wow.
And so all in, all in, all in, and I'm in third place with kings and eights. And you know, I had a positive spin on it because the other day on Monday night I had $70,000 in front of me, and if that hand happened there, it could have cost me a lot of money. So, all right, if I have to go to a charity tournament, then I'm going to MC anyway. So, on to my day job.
For the record, I got knocked out, but Phil told me I played the hand correctly. So
you did. You had King Jack, and it came a Jack 9 deuce.
And he had 2 9s.
Yeah,
so there's nothing I
there's
could
nothing
do
you
about
could do
that.
there. Yeah.
Anyway, look, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, and it was nice meeting you.
All right,
and
nice
I hope
to meet you
we
too.
meet again.
Ronnie,
Ronnie.
World Crypto Conference.
World Crypto Con. Yes, we'll be back again next year.
See you guys.
Thank you.